Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the John Roan School. It's always the most exciting time of year when we get to find out who's going to be joining us in September, and we are delighted tonight to welcome you to your first John Roan Assembly. Hope that we've got children and parents here because I think the messages are probably for both of you. So my name's Kath Smith. I'm the principal of the school, and tonight I'll be doing a little bit of talking, then I'm going to pass you over to one of my assistant principals who will tell you a bit more about the school. So I'm just going to put up some slides so that we can look at this properly. And hopefully everybody can see my slides now. So a big and warm welcome to everybody. I think what's best is if I just explain to you how we're going to work today. So we are going to talk to you. There is a facility for you to ask us questions that pop into your head as we go through. We will be monitoring those questions, and towards the end of our assembly, what we'll do is pull together some of those questions and give you some answers. But what we'll also do is make sure that very soon on the website, we will put our frequently asked questions up there, which will be the questions and answers that you asked tonight. So we'll spend as long as we can tonight, but obviously it's Friday night and we don't want to be here till 8 o'clock. So we'll go through the questions as and when. The other thing just to say to you is that we are recording this, which means that you can watch it again if you want. But it also means that if you've got friends or other families you know of who have not been able to join us tonight, they will be able to watch this. Hopefully, about the middle of next week, this will be posted up on our website, and we'll send the link out to everyone as well. So, who are we? What is the school that you are joining? We are, as it says on the screen, an ambitious learning community where pride brings out the best in everyone. And that word pride is one you're going to hear a lot about tonight and over the next 7 years, because pride is how we describe the values of our school. So we know that we want all of the students at the John Roan School to be proud of us and proud of themselves, but proud of us in particular for our passion and our dedication to their learning. We know that it's really important for everyone in the school community to be respectful of everyone around them and of their environment. We always want everyone to get as involved as possible in every aspect of school life. And we want to see that determination to change the world being something that everybody shares. But the bottom line at this school is that we all pursue excellence in everything we do. So, what is the John Roan School? We're made up of a lot of buildings. First of all, the Westcombe Park building. Many of you will have been here for the open day, and this is the school where years 7, 8, 9, 10 and 11 do most of their learning. It's on Westcombe Park Road. It's the big modern building. But we've also got a building that was just first opened in 1928, so it's very nearly 100 years old. And that's where our sixth form are. It's our sixth form centre. But it's also where you will go to do food technology lessons. And as you get older, you might go over there to do other lessons like music and drama as well. We've got access to the most special place in the world, I think. It's our centre up in the Lake District, Braithwaite. Many of you will have older brothers and sisters, or perhaps even parents who've been to Braithwaite. A very special place in the heart of some of the most beautiful scenery in our country. Braithwaite is definitely something to look forward to. We've also got some absolutely phenomenally brilliant playing fields and all-weather surface areas down in Kidbrooke. And you can see that picture there of our playing fields. There's the pavilion. We've got our minibuses that drive us there. There's the all-weather pitch, a fantastic surface. We've also got Greenwich Park nearby, another superb resource for us to use. And our sports hall in Westcombe Park is a great place for basketball, for badminton, and for many other sports as well. We are an incredibly fortunate school with such amazing resources. Very much looking forward to sharing them with you soon. So, this bit's for parents. Parent partnership is really important to us, and we want to make sure that right from the get-go we are talking to you and you feel you're able to talk to us. That way we can work together will make a massive difference to the way in which your children really succeed over the next 7 years. So we would expect you to email us if you've got something you want to tell us. That's generally the best way to get through to us. If you do that, we're bound to find opportunities to have a conversation with you face to face. We're very happy to talk to you on the phone. My apologies. And we run parents' evenings every year that are online on what we call School Cloud, so you get to talk to as many teachers as possible. Excuse me. And the Arbor app will be something we'll talk to you about nearer the time, which is where you can communicate. And on our website, if you go to the admissions tab, you will see a section on primary to secondary transition. Thank you, sir. And that's a really important place for you to go to try and find out even more information about the next few months. Independent learning is one of the big things that we teach you when you come to secondary school. We want all of our young people to move through secondary school becoming increasingly good at learning on their own and being able to develop their own ideas, because those are the skills you need as an adult. So home learning and independent learning are really important. But we do a lot of that through what we call online learning platforms. And I've put 3 of them up there on the screen for you to see. We use Sparks as a vehicle to do some extra reading. So we've got a Sparks reader program. But we also use Sparks for maths, and you'll be doing a lot of maths work on Sparks. And then Seneca is a superb platform where there are lots of subjects covered. You can do quizzes, you can find out information, and you will be set tasks on Seneca. But all of those, of course, mean that somehow we have to keep that information together, and you will get all your homework and your home learning set through Satchel 1. And your parents and you will be able to put an app on your phones where you can very easily go to find out what home learning you've got to do, when it's due, and exactly the details you need to do. But a key thing for us is that all of that requires a computer. Now, when you get to secondary school, I really think that you need to be in a position where you have got your own computer. Now, that's great if you've got one already, but for many of you, you're sharing one. And what we would like to do is get to a point where everybody has their own computer or their laptop at home. And using a phone just isn't really good enough. You haven't got a big enough screen, the keyboard isn't good. So what we do is we have a large number of Chromebooks that if you want to, you can borrow from the school. So as soon as you start at the school, you can tell your form tutor that you would like to borrow a Chromebook, and we can set that in place for you. So everybody make sure that they can do their home learning themselves and haven't got to queue up at home for access to a computer. So we'll talk to you about that in September when you start with us. Now, a lot of parents might be saying, gosh, there's going to be a lot of change. How can I help my child do that? So over the next few months, I think it would be good if you kept a calendar with all the key dates that are coming up, because we will be inviting you into school on a number of occasions. We think it's a really good idea if you spend some time talking to your child quite regularly about transition. Both you and your child are bound to have lots of exciting things you want to talk about, but maybe a few that worry you, and talking about those things are really good. But if you're not sure of something, contact us and we will do our best to let you know the answers. So phone us or email us and we will give you that information that you're asking for. So just to start, let's get some of those key dates going. Now, later on today, you're going to be told more dates, and this is being recorded, so you can come back to it. And I think we may have already sent you some of these dates in a letter. So key things for us are the admissions meetings. That's when we get lots of information about you and your family so that we can make sure that we're putting the right things in place for you. We do that over 2 days or 2 afternoons on the 9th or the 21st of May, and you will get an invitation to come at a particular time for that. That's a great opportunity to meet some of our staff and some of our parents who will be there. And then on Tuesday, the 2nd of July, I know it seems a long way away, but actually it will come up very quickly, is our parent information evening. Now, that is the night before all of Year 6 go to their secondary school. So it's a great point for parents to get all the information they need about what's going to happen on the transition day the next day, but also another opportunity to meet other parents who are already here. So we will invite some of our current Year 7 and 8 parents to be there so that you can talk to them and find out things directly from them around the transition. So we're looking forward to seeing you on those dates, but remember there will be some other dates coming up too. Now, I'm going to pass you over to Mr. Daniel Garvey, who's one of my assistant principals. He leads on all the work we do with primary schools, transitioning children from primary into secondary. While he's doing that, some of you may want to put some questions in the chat. You do that, and then I will get us ready to do questions and answers later on. Mr. Garvey.
Thank you very much, Kath. Welcome and thank you for joining us on this Friday evening. And congratulations and welcome to the school community. I believe there's great opportunities for young people here at the John Roan School and great opportunities for personal development. The quote that you can see here on the screen is a quote that was attached to the Kite Mark Award that we received as a School of Character, and I think that's quite a glowing report there for the work that goes on here at the school. You won't be able to really read this, but I just wanted you to show you that this is a visual really, which shows that actually what we do is we map out the sort of personal development experiences for all of our students from now really. We are already planning for your child to join us, and from this moment until hopefully the end of year 13, we believe that students will receive fantastic experiences to develop in a number of ways. So for example, a fantastic PSHE program which really educates young people about the wider world and relationships and so on and so forth. Opportunities for young people to really think about their career ambition. The idea that we want all of our students to go to a university for a day, to visit a university, to a museum, to visit a museum, to a theatre, to receive those experiences. We think that these experiences actually for our students here at the John Roan School are what we would say an entitlement. So opportunities are an entitlement for personal development, and we want these opportunities for everybody. So I'll give you a little bit of information this evening, and hopefully that will give you a little bit of an insight into what to expect in regards to the school. And as Kath mentioned a moment ago, if you do have any questions, that's absolutely fine, and we'll try and answer those towards the end. Really important place to start is our pastoral structure, the care we offer through our primarily through our form tutor, but then the wider pastoral team. And to give you a little bit of an overview and insight, we have 2 dedicated reading sessions a week. For every student here at the John Roan School. Our students experience a career ambition session and an oracy session on a fortnightly basis. So they're sort of character developing sessions which the students engage brilliantly with. Some of our oracy questions recently, I'm sure you'll be quite interested by. Is it okay to judge? Should footballers be paid more than nurses? Can you choose to be healthy? Are humans ruining the earth? So these big picture questions, which we then instruct students to go and research and engage in by demonstrating really, really good oracy skills. We have a focus on attendance because, of course, we see the real importance of excellent attendance rates here at the school. So each week there'll be an opportunity to monitor, and where necessary, we will mentor students in terms of increasing their attendance rate here at the school. And we have really engaging assemblies. Every student will attend one assembly session a week, which will, of course, be led by their head of year. The three areas of the PSHE programme, which I referenced a moment ago, are relationships, health and well-being, and living in the wider world. And again, we're seeing our students are engaging brilliantly in those sessions, and obviously these act as excellent opportunities to prepare our young people for the wider world. We really, really believe strongly that student leadership opportunities are also an entitlement, and there's a great number of ways to get involved in leading here at John Roan School. It might be through a particular curriculum or an aspect of a lesson, but also outside of lessons. We have the Duke of Edinburgh programme, we have Debate Mate, we have a fantastic school council and a school magazine, which we encourage our students to be the leaders of these fantastic opportunities. We have an enrichment programme, an extracurricular programme that we hope caters for all of our students. But also what we say is, if we are not running a club that your child would like to be attending, then please speak to us. Because quite recently we were not running a table tennis club, and we had through Student Voice the request to restart that club, and we have done just that. So we want to respond to the needs of our students, and I believe the students have a fantastic broad range of enrichment clubs to attend, and there's a great range of trips and visits, etc., to attend. Today, I was looking at the school calendar, and just as a snapshot, I can let you know that we had football training after school today. Table tennis, which I was just mentioning a moment ago, does run on a Friday. We had a whole host of students in the library, a library session. We had 3 trips out today. We had the Year 12 students, a group of Year 12 students, I should say, at Cambridge University. We had some Year 8 students participating in a level 1 sailing qualification at the local centre, the Ahoy Centre, down there near Cutty Sark. And we also had students in Year 9 and 10 attending a sustainability award. So we've got an Eco Champions group and a group that are really interested in green careers that are studying Year 10 geography. And these students attended this session and are continuing to work towards an award as part of their work in this area. So just as a snapshot of one day, I do think that students at this school, they get great opportunities, and as a staff body, we're constantly actually trying to add to the opportunities the children receive and look for new ways to sort of inspire our cohort. And talking of inspiration, I think the outdoor education opportunities certainly do that. They offer opportunities for children to develop confidence and resilience, of course, and to learn new skills in unfamiliar environments. And as a school, we feel quite passionately that our students should have access to outdoor educational opportunities. Just to really for your information at this stage, I just wanted to flag up that on our website you do have access to lots of curriculum information. So you'll see on the top of this slide here are 6 curriculum principles, and here there are 3 documents that are referenced on my slide that exist on the website. So it is quite possible for you. You might not feel the need to do this just at this stage, but this information does exist and it is there for you to access. If you wanted to look into, let's say, for example, the geography curriculum, you could look at the curriculum principles and how they are applied in that subject area. You could look at the roadmap. So that is how the different content is sequenced, the different units of study in the respective year groups. And then you could look at some knowledge organisers, and that might be a useful process to get a little bit of an understanding and an oversight in terms of a lot of the great work that's done in all of the different curriculum areas. I feel passionately that secondary education should be positive, And I think we're a school that constantly tries to deliver that. We work hard to reward students. Something that's particularly popular at the moment is this idea of rewarding students for going above and beyond. And what that means is that our teachers have perhaps recognised those pride values that Kath was referring to a moment ago, perhaps some extremely respectful behaviour in a lesson that needs to be recognised. And what we'll do is we'll recognise that there and then. Of course, we will publicly in front of peers, because we think that's a fantastic way to educate young people. But at the same time, we'll also send you guys a message. So we'll send an automated text message home, which is personalised, to say your child has shown above and beyond behaviour in their learning, and this is specifically what we have recognised. And that's a great way to create a culture here in this school where we do demonstrate those pride values. There are sort of big ticket events, if you will, such as this golden ticket image. The golden ticket event is for students that have repeatedly gone above and beyond, and we want to reward those students. It might be that the students go out to the cinema down there in the at the Picture House in Greenwich. What we do 3 times a year is hire out exclusive access to that cinema, where the students are given a really special moment, and where we recognise their brilliant pride values through quite a special enrichment trip, essentially. But as Kath mentioned earlier on, our pride values really do underpin everything we do really in the school. And in regards to the culture we are trying to create, we use these values every day in terms of the communication we have with the students, and in terms of setting our expectations. This slide I think is very useful because it's got lots and lots of dates on it. Kath mentioned some absolutely key dates a moment ago, and this slide actually has a few more dates on it in addition. So Kath mentioned the 2 admission meeting dates. These are very important dates because you will go through the admissions process on this evening, but you can also speak to really key members of staff that will have lots of access to your child's development next year on these evenings. So as Kath mentioned, you will be invited specifically to those dates. You'll recognise that one's a Tuesday and one is on a Thursday. So if you cannot attend one or the other, please do let us know, and that provides us with that flexibility that we can suit your needs, hopefully. We do deliver live online lessons. These have been quite popular. Students enjoy looking and seeing and engaging in a John Roan lesson, and it gives our students a sense of what a John Roan lesson typically kind of looks like, albeit it's online, which wouldn't be our preferred method, but it is a great opportunity to meet some teachers and to start thinking about secondary school education. The friendship mornings are for targeted students, and if you did want to advocate for your child, you can let us know on the admissions evenings. But really, what we want to create on these mornings is smaller groups, very, very small groups essentially, where we have key members of staff supporting students that feel that they need that extra bit of support to aid the transition process before the bigger event which is coming, which is the big induction day, where we have the whole year group in. And what we've received in the past is really good feedback from these events. So it might be that if your child is attending as a lone attendee from their primary school, or if your child has additional needs, you might think this would really suit them, actually, having that morning which is going to be calm and supportive before attending on the induction day. We will support you with that. Okay. The friendship evening is an opportunity to hopefully meet friends and engage in lots of fun, and again, it is a build up really to our induction day on Wednesday the 3rd of July, which is about replicating almost a normal day at our school, whilst the students also get to meet really key members of staff that will be supporting them next year. Okay, that's essentially it from me. I did want to announce before we have a look at the questions that may have come in, I did want to announce that we have the JRSA, which is our parent association here at the school, which do an incredible job, and they are very open, of course, to working with the new cohort of Year 7 parents. They will be welcoming you all personally, I'm sure, but they are a great range of events, social events, fundraising events for you to participate in and get involved in. And I think the JRSA offers a great network for parents to share ideas and to communicate. So I would absolutely recommend in time making yourself known to the JRSA and having to think about how you can engage in that group. Okay. Thank you so much for your time this evening. I know that was a little bit of a whistle-stop tour of quite a few areas, but it was quite important for us to introduce some of that information this evening. And I do personally look forward to meeting you and to answering specific questions in time. I'm just going to hand back over to our head teacher now, Kath Smith.
So thank you all for joining us, and I hope that has been useful. It's been really good, Dan, to see some of the questions that are coming up. And because you're a PE teacher, sir, I'm going to ask you the first question that's come up. And it's come up in a number of ways, but I think if you look globally, I think people would really like to know the sort of sports that we do, the teams that we've got. I've had a question about whether we got a swimming team, have we got a girls' football team, is there space on the girls' football team? But I think we've got many more teams than that. And I wonder whether you could just talk a little bit about that.
Absolutely. So we deliver in our PE curriculum time, we'll deliver 6 sports throughout the academic year. So in the autumn term, often we focus on invasion games. So it might be tag rugby and football, for example. In the spring term, it might be basketball or netball, a fitness option or a table tennis option. And in the summer term, it will always be striking and fielding, whether that's rounders or cricket. And it will always be athletics because we have outstanding fields.
Down at Kidbrooke, fantastic.
Kidbrooke, yeah. As you mentioned, Kath. So the athletics facilities for a London school are absolutely superb, as good as I've seen. So the students get a great experience, hopefully, when the sun is out in the summer term, and that's very popular. So that's the curriculum in terms of what we call range and content in the PE curriculum. You asked me about teams. Yeah, we have a girls' football team. They were competing this week and they were successful. Mr. Cole leads that. So they train regularly, and we tend to play local schools. So we get heavily involved in the borough tournaments, and then Charlton Athletic from time to time will run an event and we'll participate in that as well. And then there is a borough-wide competition. So a lot of the games will be friendlies, competitive games, and then bespoke events, which are often about widening participation. Girls' football is absolutely, we know nationally it's booming as a result of the success of the Lionesses, but what we've found in this school is that it's a really, really popular club, increasingly so. You asked me about swimming. At the moment, no, but we have lots of our students that attend the Greenwich Royal Swimming Club. And there is a link, shall I say, between the school and that swimming club itself. So although we don't run the swimming team itself, we have a local club that offers us a fantastic partnership for us. I think that was sort of the main crux of it. But some questions might be around range and content for our enrichment clubs. I don't really know where to start because we've done a pretty good job this year of increasing the clubs we run, but I'll try and run through a few, Kath, just so that people get a broader sense of what we offer. So we have basketball for boys and girls, we have netball club, we have the football teams for boys and girls, we have the table tennis club, as I mentioned earlier on, we have a rugby club, which is mainly tag rugby, to be perfectly honest, but there is an opportunity for contact with some of the boys teams at the moment. And thank you.
Just found us.
We have a boxing club. I should mention that. That's fantastically popular. Yeah. We have fitness sessions that the students attend. Yeah. So there's
and we've got the basketball academy and the sixth form as well, haven't we? So I think if you like sport, then you've come to the right school. I think, and my apologies, you had a blank screen because I thought we were on it, but we weren't. So yeah. Another one for you, sir. Someone has said, how many trips per year? And I know that you spend your life organising trips, so there's lots of trips running all the time.
There are lots and lots of trips running. It's one of the main reasons why I love working in the school, because we really do focus on that personal development. And I listed some opportunities today. I think I listed 6 things, and that, I mean, that's quite a busy day for us, but that's not uncommon at the same time. So what I would say is every student will go on a trip every year. So in the summer term, we commit to like a big ticket enrichment trip. So I'll give you an example. Our current year 7 students will be doing Outward Bounds. Our year 8 students are going to local museums and then to the O2. Our year 9 students are doing some kayaking at Danson Park, and they're doing some rock climbing. That's an optional either or. And then that day is culminating at our games field. Our year 10 students are going to the theatre to watch The Lion King. We're really proud of that because we weren't able to achieve that last year due to availability, but we have been this year, and so on. We've taken all of year 10 and year 9 out already this year, and year 12 to do to go to careers expos.
And then I'm just thinking, so we've got some youngsters going on a residential at the end of this term, haven't we? So we've got a key group going to Stubbers at the end of term for a few nights, and then in June we've got 5 weeks where we're using the Braithwaite Centre. So different year groups are going up for that.
That's right.
There's lots of trips to university, to workplaces, to run workshops and things like that. Goodness me, I mean, it's difficult to cram the curriculum in around all of that sometimes, isn't it?
The trips are run in 2 ways, really, aren't they? Yeah. They're run by curriculum areas. So it might be the drama are leading on a particular trip, music department and so on. But also our pastoral team lead trips. So, for example, most of the year groups at the end of this term are taking their the students that want to attend. These trips, these pastoral enrichment trips, are optional, but they're taking them to the trampoline park in the O2.
Yeah.
And in the first term, there was some bowling and so on and so forth, and some ice skating that's gone on. So there's pastoral. So your head of year will lead on a particular trip that will usually happen 3 times a year. But also there are bespoke, targeted trips that are run by curriculum leaders that obviously enrich that particular curriculum.
Okay, so I think that's probably enough on trips. You'll find out more as you get involved. I've got a question around whether someone will be in the same class as their primary school friends, and I think that's quite a frequently asked question, but it's also quite a difficult one to answer, because in secondary school you don't stay with the same group of children in all your lessons. So we have form groups, tutor groups, and we try and make sure that those tutor groups are fairly well mixed, so that we've got mix of ability, we've got reasonably even numbers of girls and boys, and so on. But it's also important for us that we don't disadvantage the children who are coming as the only child from a primary school as against the youngsters who are coming with perhaps a whole group of friends from their primary school. So we would try to spread the primary schools out. And yet, you know, if there's just 2 children from one primary school, we might well put them together, unless, of course, someone says that's a no-go. Yeah. So we will listen to you and hear you, but the tutor group is only just one part of the week. So children are organised into different groups for maths, for English, for science, for their humanities subjects. PE and design technology are taught in smaller groups, so there's another mixing of groups. So it would be very difficult to say, yes, you will always be with this person, or yes, you will never be with that person, because actually some of it might change, and it changes over time. So as we get to know you better, so for instance, your maths teachers will begin to organise you into ability groups. And at that point, that's the driver, and not about what primary school you went to or where your best friend is. Plenty of time at lunch and at break to chat with friends, and plenty of opportunity to spend time together as well. So there's a question there that links to that, which is how do you put the tutor groups together? And I would say that's one of the most complex things we do, because we do try to look to make sure that the groups are quite even in terms of ability, making sure there's a range of abilities in each group, that there's a range of make sure that we've got fairly even numbers between girls and boys, to look at a whole load of factors, including achievement data. So it's quite a complex thing. The admissions meeting does give parents an opportunity to just say. So, for instance, we have plenty of twins every year. Some parents of twins come in and say, absolutely, under no circumstances do we want these children ever together. Yeah, they want the twins to be completely apart, and other ones say, they've always been together, I really want to keep them together. And you can imagine that other people say, this person's been great friends with someone since they were 3 years old and whatever. But I will say that actually friendships do change a lot over the first couple of years in secondary school. And so we do see, very sadly, friendships that have gone on for years just teetering a bit, but equally we see great new friendships bonding together. And young people do change quite a lot. There's a question there about equal opportunities for artistic and cultural experiences, and what I would say is that we keep incredibly thorough records, so we monitor the way in which people engage with our trips and make sure that we're not steering towards one group or another at any point over a period of time. So, we would certainly look to make sure that we knew what the engagement was, so that if there was a group of people who weren't going on trips, we would find a trip that they would go on, and so on. So really do need to do things. We focused on sport because there was a first question we looked at as sport, but there's an awful lot of opportunities around the arts, around academic excellence, around careers in particular. We're very, very strong on making sure that our youngsters have their horizons broadened at every opportunity. So visiting speakers coming in, opportunities to go to workplaces, to go to universities, to look at engineering, looking at the arts and everything. I mean, it's really important to us that there's that range. I had a question quite early on about whether our incoming year sixes could access things like the Proud magazine. I'm fairly certain that we could quite easily email that to everyone, couldn't we?
Yes.
For something. So we will do that. And I'm fairly certain also that there is another one in production. So when that comes out, we can make sure, because we will have your email addresses. We've already emailed you. We'll be able to send that to you. I'm just checking through. It says, will BSL be added to the curriculum in languages and as a GCSE? I saw the press. We haven't got anyone at the moment who would be able to teach that, but I think it really is an interesting move that a lot of schools are taking, which is introducing BSL, and it's certainly something that I would be interested in, but I can't say that there are any plans coming forward for the new year.
James Wolfe do a great job.
Do they?
As well,
do they? Yeah. So there's a question about when we stream the pupils. Different departments do it at different points, and some departments don't do it at all. But what we would be looking at is by October, beginning to have a fairly good idea on a sort of broad base about where the strengths are and where the areas are where we need to put in more support for youngsters, and we would begin to look to make sure that we've got that balance right in classes. And we do mid-year assessments in January, and those are quite a formal point for us to do assessments. So during year 7, certainly in maths, we would begin to group people by ability, but in the other subjects, we actually hold back because we think actually it's more valuable to have that closer to mixed ability group. But we do make sure that we're targeting support where we need to target it at all times. I think there's probably enough time for another question, and it's a food allergy question. Do you want me to answer that one?
If you don't mind, yeah.
So obviously one of the questions that we will ask everyone at the admissions meeting is around medical needs, and under that I would expect food allergies to come. We have a kitchen that is incredibly responsive to, once they know what allergies there are, in making sure that they support children in making the right choices. And I would say that to an extent it depends on the extremeness of the food allergy. If for instance, you can't be in the area, or it's a massive risk, then the kitchens will tell you, well, actually don't take that, because although it doesn't contain that particular thing, it was packed in a place where that particular allergen is there. So they would give advice, and very, very quickly our catering team get to know the children, get to know their allergies. We have, when they log on to pay for their meals, whether it's a free school meal or they're paying, up on the screen will come that child's allergies, so that the kitchen staff will then compare it to the menu each day to see where the allergens are and make sure they're giving young people advice. And it's certainly something I'd be happy to have a discussion with someone about if they were concerned. We ask families not to pack nuts at all. And so whilst I would say that is something we aim for, I can't ever guarantee that we're 100% nut free, because there is always the possibility that one person will forget that and put nuts into someone's bag. But we work very hard on that area. Dan, can you think of anything else? There is a question now about phones. Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, there was.
Something else as
well? I just read that about walking. One parent was talking about walking their child to school initially. That's quite common.
I think it's
actually,
great,
and it's really nice. And you'd be welcomed at the gate, and it's an opportunity to ask some questions. And sometimes parents will start in that way, of course, and then kind of
arrange to meet their child at the corner.
Bring it back a little bit, because I think the induction day is a day that is surrounded, like, it involves a lot of nervousness. It really does. And after about an hour in the school, the students are quite comfortable. But by the end of the day, the students are telling us they've had a fantastic day, and I think what they're trying to say there is, I now feel confident.
But I think you find on those days that the parents aren't confident all day, because they're waiting to hear the news
it's
back.
Nerve-wracking. It's nerve-wracking. We get that. But what we say to the children is, like, take your time. We're here for you. We provide you with support. And it's the same for parents. I think it's a massive step change, primary to secondary phases. So we're here to support the parents. We're here to support the children. And it will take a little bit of time. There's absolutely no rush. But yeah, it's quite natural, actually, and quite normal for parents to support quite closely initially, and then to step back a little bit over time.
I would say that by the time we get to this stage, just thinking down about the end of the school day, we've probably only got, from the 900 children that are based at Westcombe Park, there's probably only about 20 parents who actually collect at the school gate now. But that wasn't the case in September, when obviously we had more parents there. So, I think, you do what you think is right for your child, don't you?
That's it. There's a question
about a phone.
I didn't see that one.
I'll answer that, and then you can answer the next one. So
there's two that I was going to come back on.
Mobile phones. We have a line that and we know that a lot of parents want their children to have phones for travelling to and from school. So our line is that children bring their phones to school at their own risk. It's their property, and we cannot take responsibility for that. We ask them to make sure that they are put away and turned off during the school day, so they're out of sight. If we hear them or see them during the day, the children know they will be confiscated until the end of the day. If that happens repeatedly, we would probably want you to come in and collect them, and we can have a conversation around that. But that's pretty well known and pretty well accepted in the school.
It was a big debate, wasn't it, in the news 2 or 3 weeks ago? But I think we do a good job here at the school. I think the students know that if the phone is out, there is going to be a consequence, and they respect that, and they recognise that. And we recognise that the phone actually serves as a safety device, doesn't it, before school and after school. So we understand that the students are going to have phones on them, but the phone must be off. and they enjoy their learning, and then at the end of the school day it gets turned back on. But yeah.
Over to you. You had a couple of questions.
There was a question here about martial arts. So we don't offer it. We have in the past offered a little bit more in terms of karate and judo, but we do offer boxing at the moment. So as I mentioned earlier on, if there is that appetite within the student community, that they will let us know through Student Voice and School Council, and we'll look at what we can offer. There was also a comment, Kath, from a parent saying they enjoyed receiving the postcard, which was a nice thing to read.
Good.
I just wanted to say our current Year 7 students were really excited about writing them, and a lot of the students were saying that they were quite keen for the Year 6 student, if possible, to come and say hello,
nice.
Which is why the name was put on. But yeah, they were really proud to kind of write the postcard, so that was a really nice process, I think. I'm just looking, Kath, for other questions. I think
if you hit new post at the top, we'll get some more.
A few.
Okay, that's really nice.
There. And you've answered the mobile phone one.
We've also hit our deadline, and we've gone past our 3/4 of an hour of people's time on a Friday evening. It's been incredibly good to see your questions and to hear them. I hope you find this has been useful. We're really looking forward to seeing you for the admissions meetings, seeing your children when they come for the friendship evenings, seeing you again for the information evening in July. In fact, that week, the 1st, 2nd and 3rd of July is definitely a date for your diaries. Just write John Roan all over it, because the children are coming after school for a friendship afternoon on the Monday. On the Tuesday, you're coming in the afternoon to hear from us, and we'll give you a little briefing and some more information. And then on the Wednesday, the children are here all day. So it's quite an exciting week for everyone. So we're looking forward to seeing you. Don't forget that if you have questions, email them into the school. We will do our best to get back to you and answer them. If you've got particular questions, for instance, around special educational needs, please give us as much information as you can. And then on the admissions day, we will make sure that you meet up with one of our inclusion team, and hopefully the person who is most connected to the area of concern you've got. It's been a joy to do this. Have a good weekend, everybody, and we look forward to seeing you in September and plenty of times before that.
Thank you. Enjoy your weekend.
Good night.